Hey Katerina, how you doing? Once again, this project is looking great. I'm very, very excited about the potential. I really liked it ever since you first started showing to us, and I'm happy to give you a critique on it. So there were a couple things that you asked specifically about, particularly the umbrella and getting the character to pop a little bit more. So I will just help you out with that a little bit. The first thing that I want to do though is I really think we have an opportunity here to separate the character from the background a little bit more, not just in value, but in saturation as well. So I would suggest to go ahead and just increase the saturation on this background just a little bit. This might be a little bit too much, but I would really kind of play up the blues of those, because what we're going to do is we're going to use the warm reds to kind of and warm tones of the character to pop forward. I know there's some little bit of warmth in my saturation tweak, but I think that you can isolate just the blues and pull those forward and keep the warmer tones down. And then what we want to do is we want to increase the brightness on the character overall a little bit, because that will help her pop forward again. Because again, we want her bright values to be at least on the level with the bright highlights in the background. And that's something that because right now we're getting a little bit distracted by those points of light back there. So I think we should up her overall key and overall intensity of the lights on her, and that'll help her pop forward just a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily go, again, quite as bright as this, just because, and again, I'm just tweaking colors in Photoshop here, but you can see like right here gets a little bit too bright. So I wouldn't push it quite that hard. Make sure that those highlights stay down a little bit, but the overall intensity level of her and of the umbrella should be right about in this range. In terms of the umbrella lighting itself, be careful with the highlight in here. Make sure that's not getting too bright. If it is, you may just want to put like a black card or something around off screen so it's not reflecting too much. But the umbrella itself, I actually think is looking really good. I think you're having a really, really nice balance of transmittancy of the light coming in from back behind, and then creating this to be darker in here so that the center of interest focuses back down on the character's face. So I actually think that's working pretty well. I wouldn't really feel the need to adjust that too much. And you're getting really, really nice specular highlight here and a little bit over on this side too. So it's a really, really nice balance that I think you're getting from the shade of the umbrella right now. There are a couple of bright areas on the edge, like those little white areas, a little one over here as well. I would just watch out for those. But other than that, I think it's falling into a pretty good spot. In terms of other things I would do with the character, watch out for the character's hair, because there's a couple, and again, I know I've tweaked the values, but like, the darkness of her hair here versus the brightness of the light needs to be a little bit better. Basically, I think her hair is getting a little bit too dark. We're getting some nice highlights and specular hits, but I just feel like the diffuse base level of the hair could go up a little bit, and we can start to feel maybe some warm tones, maybe some brown tones in the hair there. And then I also feel like this light that's hitting the character could come around and hit a little bit more around the face there, and even kind of maybe get some Rembrandt lighting scraping across the nose there as well. I think we can kind of push a little bit more light on the face of the character so it's not quite so rimmed up. Other than that, like I said, I really, really do feel like this one's going in the right direction. I feel like you're on the right path. With the eye dings, one thing to be aware of is make sure I would move this to about this position here on both eyes. I think that would be a little more aesthetically pleasing. Right now, it's kind of in limbo between the edge here or the edge here, and this is a personal preference. But you do what you want. But I think that I like my eye dings to hit on the pupil to iris threshold, the barrier between those 2 points on both eyes. I think that'll look really nice. And then I would just keep this one 20 to 30% brighter than the opposite side, and I feel like that would be good. But yeah, overall, I think this is falling into a really nice place. Again, use the saturation to get the background to pop backwards and the warm tones to pop forward. I like the lighting on the umbrella, and I think we can get a little more lighting on the character's face and then increase overall the brightness on the characters. And then the last thing that I would do, and actually I didn't test this before I started recording, but let's just go ahead and give it a go, is I would add a little bit of diffusion softness to this as well. Yes, discard the hidden layers. Oop. Just merge these layers, sorry. And I'm going to take this, copy, paste, filter, blur, Gaussian blur by like 10 pixels, let's say. And then we'll screen this back over top. And then we'll just lower this opacity. Something like that. Just to kind of get some more softness, some more glowiness across the entire image. Because right now, again, we're trying to integrate the foreground character with the background. So that adding that kind of Gaussian blur screen over top of everything will really add that little bit of value. And then to compare it again with the original from that to that, I think it would really make a big difference. But you are well on your way. You're doing all the right things. Just keep going, keep moving, keep posting, and we'd love to give the critiques and get you along the way. Okay, happy lighting.